But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. We choose to go to the moon.
Good morning and welcome to World Blockchain Roundtable. This is episode 116, and we are going to be talking about XRP versus the SEC. But let's talk about our panel first. Our host for today, we have Lisa joining us.
Just Lisa.
We have Joe. Every time it's different. We have Joe, founder and architect of Dragon Chain, joining us, and me. I'm John. I just talked. First, a quick update from last week. Each host from last week is going to receive 100 lot. Each topic contributor from last week will receive 50 lot. Last week's theme was top 3 legacy systems to decentralize using blockchain, nominated by IM4M, and he's going to receive probably like 50 lot or something. These ownership tokens come with perpetual passive income, free edits, and governance votes. The theme for this week, like I said, is XRP versus SEC, which was nominated by Derox. So let's go ahead and jump into those questions. Let's see what we got.
I love that you've changed it up. XRP versus SEC.
What did I say?
Well, originally the case was SEC versus XRP. SEC was going after actually Ripple, not even XRP.
Oh yeah.
Just a little word, linguist. It's interesting the way that the title is being stated.
Absolutely. Just want to let you know that Derox wrote it that way. That had nothing to do with me. So
Derox, because it's kind of like a we the people. XRP is the token, so it's kind of stated as the token holders versus SEC.
The best defense is always a good offense, right? In chess. So anyway,
like that. That might be a good strategy for this.
I like how you said in chess. Like, I feel like that's like for every, like, I was like, first of all, I don't know if that's necessarily like for, there's plenty of openings that you open defensively.
Well, I would say, and usually people that I hang out with always suffix every statement with in Minecraft. So that they can't give, so that current events later, of course, that the FBI won't come and kill them.
Oh, that makes more sense now.
Say, hey, I really dislike that person in Minecraft. Yeah. So anyway,
got it.
I see.
I know you're talking.
You're just hanging out with 8-year-olds. That's interesting.
I've been playing a lot of chess lately, so I was thinking about that. Lost 3 games this morning. Not fun.
I want to ask you about a particular game I heard about, maybe during the current events. Remind me. All right.
Sure.
Okay, cool deal.
So the first question. It's been a few weeks. This comes to us from Derox as well. It's been a few weeks since the court ruling, and it's as if nothing has happened. Ripple announces more collaborations, but the price drops. The SEC wants to ban everything but Bitcoin. SBF cleared of charges. More and more evidence that Vitalik made a deal with the SEC providing Ethereum exclusively.
With China's help.
One of these events would be enough to cause an earthquake in an entire industry, and nothing is happening. The number of transactions on XRPL, I said that correctly. XRPL is huge, and most of them are in the US. Meanwhile, crypto enthusiasts repeat like a mantra that they are now interested in AI. How is it possible that such significant events remain without significant reaction? Joe, why don't people care?
I wondered this for years and years, because most of the stuff that you see in crypto is at first, is it just counterintuitive? Is there just something I'm missing? It's like, no, most of it is BS. Most of it is fake, because if you had, especially known within the people that care about Bitcoin, you have the governments of the world just blowing out newly printed money. The price should obviously have been going up for Bitcoin and some of the Litecoin and Monero and Ethereum even, and yet it hasn't really. It's been and a lot of the issues are that people in the crypto industry who did not come here for the reasons that many of us did, which was this is a decentralized way, a path to more liberty, philosophically, that this is different. Instead, they came because number go up, and their theory for years was that we need to get institutional money plugged in. We need to get Bitcoin inside of Wall Street and in London and alongside all of these other assets, because that's where the real money is, and that's what will make number go up. And some of us have been talking about, it's like the more we pursue number go up, the less likely it will happen, that it gets manipulated. And so I would say a lot of what you see out there is BS. A lot of what you see out there is it's either manipulation or false info and or government playing around behind the scenes, because you obviously see that with SBF being cleared of charges. It's a clear and obvious, everybody looks at, sign of corruption. It's a meme. It's so ridiculous. It's like Epstein hanging himself. It's like, oh sure, okay, yeah, he hanged himself, right? It's the exact same thing. Anybody could have called it, oh, they're going to clear SBF. He's going to go on a freaking victory tour. New York Times is going to interview him in a puff piece. All this other BS. So the powers that be don't want this technology here for various reasons.
Mhm.
They, frankly, probably want a lot of us dead. And you're going to just see
so.
more and more stuff like this happen until the crypto enthusiasts say, okay, screw it. We don't care about the financials of it. That we need to consider these as tools in a war, because that's what they are. They're tools in a war, and 90% of humans don't know that they are at war and somebody's trying to actively kill them. So anyway,
because they want to call it politics and say they're not involved and it doesn't affect them.
Yep.
But yes, Joe, right? To your point.
Yep.
Great, Lisa. Why are people not yelling, jumping in the streets, knocking over cars, or why is not the price of things not going up and down more?
Well, besides the fluoride in the water and the beer and circus that goes on to distract and keep the world numb. Yeah. I think that they don't quite understand what's going on. Our education system has been lacking for so long. They took civics out of school years ago. People think it is a top-down system, that it is a us and them, and that our leaders tell us what to do instead of constitutionally, or we have God-given rights. And so they really don't know that they're allowed to have a voice or to say no. And it's going to get really painful, unfortunately, to the point where people are going to say no, is what I think.
Yep.
It all starts with education. Go ahead, Joe.
And you could see, like, say, I didn't even mention the info that came out on China related to Ethereum's founding and Vitalik working with the SEC. And, we already knew that, like Lubin had been speaking favorably of the regulators and regulation when they aren't being regulated, which was always some odd thing to consider until now what really happened. And the fact is, a lot, again, it's a bag holding number go up question. a lot of the people that would probably normally be saying, hey, call foul, that's BS, that shouldn't have happened, are silent because they have money there. They're not going to speak out against it if there's money there. And I don't know, it's pretty disgusting, really.
Joe, that goes hand in hand with the SBF being walked out of the courthouse, and with them making an open statement saying they will not look into the political, what was it? What was the statement? Like the finance corruption, political finance corruption.
Yep.
They literally said like, oh, that part that we see there, that political finance corruption, we're not going to look into that part. And SBF gets walked out of court.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
It is
and
nuts.
We should all be screaming.
Yes.
Demanding that he goes to jail, and that the list of money.
Well,
all the wallets.
Shit like this starts happening, and people will stop calling for jail time, and they'll be calling for worse. So it's like, man, if you don't have real justice provided by the state, justice tends to come. It's just kind of locked up and explodes at various points. So
well, I guess that's what we're seeing is people are starting to say like, oh, these rules not to get into current events, John, I'll stay in the XRP lane, but seeing the rules with Hunter, versus, if that was anybody else's kid with cocaine at their house for Christmas,
same people,
that wouldn't happen.
And the same thing, different industry. But yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, what if Hunter would have taken a big share in XRP and applied it somehow to the energy industry on mining, like they do with Bitcoin? How would that be handled? They should have thought of that. They wouldn't be under any.
Well, that would have been great advice from Gary. That would have been some of Gary's advice from his days at MIT. Just give them.
Sam, go over here. I have a buddy I can introduce you to. That's what the talk should have been about. But.
So it does look like he's being charged with campaign finance law after campaign finance violations.
Oh, really?
It's on the screen right now. It was funny when I Googled it. The only thing that came up was the New York Times, New York Magazine, and then I had to kind of dig, and then I found a bunch of other places that picked it up. But it's
awesome.
Mostly everything that's picking it up is ABC News, the New York Magazine, and then a bunch of crypto websites. So it has not.
Thank you.
It makes sense that we weren't sure about it because it's not being picked up by mainstream stuff. It's really only being. It looks like it's only really being picked up in the crypto community.
To Darroch's point,
half-assed thing. I mean, I'll bet it. This is the. It's not an olive branch, but this is they typically throw a bone. That would be the better analogy. They will sometimes throw a bone. It's like, yeah, we're not going to get him on this, but that money he gave to the Republicans. Let's go after him on that couple of $100,000 that he gave to the Republicans. That we can go after because those guys aren't going to say shit.
Or it'll be that deal where it's it is the cover up, like what Hunter did and tried to run past that judge. That we're gonna put this in the. But then he can't be charged with anything else outside of what's in this hearing or this case. So it essentially pardoned him from all his other crimes. And the judge was like, no.
Yeah.
So that may be something like that. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Curious to read more about that.
I think a big thing that I'm definitely no crypto expert, but I think a big thing that we've seen throughout every show is the reason why there isn't a lot of movement in a lot of areas is because there's so much uncertainty around SEC opinions and other people's opinions. So it's a kind of a whole lot of wait and see until it explodes or somebody makes a decision.
That's the truth.
So all you can do is be an enthusiast. And you can't really be much more than that.
Well, you could be more than that if once again, it's the top down thing that's upside down. We need to be going. The SEC is not supposed to be making laws. They're supposed to be, enforcement or whatever. But our congressmen and women that are sitting there on their hands instead of doing their job that we supposedly elected them to, we should be banging down their door saying, why aren't you doing your job? We're looking for clarity on these issues. We want to use this thing, you know, but we're not holding them accountable, you know, so they're not doing their job. They're passing their job off to 3-letter agencies. And then we all sit there and go, why is nothing happening?
Yeah, it's trash. The whole thing. There is no, first of all, law is not as real as Schoolhouse Rock will make you believe, right? There's nothing legitimately, in my opinion, right? I'm not a lawyer, but I've worked with a lot of lawyers, and I've realized, oh, none of it means shit. If somebody could break the law, it doesn't matter unless a prosecutor wants to go after them. You know, we've had people who committed fraud on us, stole stuff from us, and because it wasn't like something that a prosecutor would give a shit about because it won't help their election, it's like, doesn't matter. You know, you can turn it in to the FBI, but sometimes the lawyers will tell you, but I probably wouldn't, because then they'll just come around and cause more trouble than you want. And I'm like, great. So there's no law. And then the judges, the judges can interpret the law however they want. And if you have enough money, you can get past it and get to some finality, maybe. But it's all BS. There's no objective truth or blindness to the law. Is absolute justice. Maybe real justice would be blind, but justice system is not blind at freaking all, right? So
yeah, it's really broken right now.
Yeah.
All right, so we can go on to our next question. Our next question comes to us from Derox as well. This question doesn't really seem to be a question, but I like it. Free round for hosts. Answer the question you would like to be asked, or express your opinion on the aspect of the case that interests you. Lisa, do you want to kick this one off for us?
Yes. So, token holders in the secondary market. I think that this was a huge win for the crypto community as a whole. We see a lot of tribalism, which is very unfortunate. I think, that's how they win, is by separating all of us. I think we need to understand that crypto, like Joe said, this is a new technology that we can use for freedom, for that we can make choices with our energy. And we need to come together around that. And in that, everyone can choose what coin or token they want to. You choose your freedom, let someone else choose their freedom, as long as they're not hurting another person. But token holders in the secondary market, Judge Torres's decision to separate the two things, the offering, the initial offering, was, yes, she said it was a security, but then she separated out the token as not a security. And I'm not being specific in the wording. I should probably be more specific in the wording, but this was the general overview. And I think that's a big win for a lot of people, for token holders in the secondary market. And that's my most exciting part about the case.
Exciting. Joe, what are you excited about? What do you
I think so too. It's also an indicator, because if they won on the direct sales to institutional investors, right, to the big guys, they won on that. The SEC did, but that's apparently not enough. So they literally want the orange in the Howey test to be the security, which is a very clear overstepping of, I'm not a lawyer, of course, but if the bounds of the Howey test were true, in the way that the SEC is trying to treat it today, their oranges would have been securities, and they would have had to have gone after all the grocery stores and any little kid selling orange juice on. I'm going to pretend like they had orange stands back then in Florida, like they don't, like lemons, no, right? They have oranges. So if they were making orange juice, that's a security, and that kid would be, open to a disgorgement of all of the stand sales they had that day, instead of going to the to the help the pound or something charity, right? So one way or another, they're going after token holders, which I think is kind of ludicrous, crazy how they would actually ever be able to implement that. And the indicator is in the end that the powers that be that actually fund the SEC, that actually fund the federal government, bureaucrats and leaders, behind the table, under the table, behind closed doors, that they want to kill this this possibility of this technology. They want to kill the ability for you to have some economics behind a utility token. Essentially, if you can't trade them, then number go up is dead, and there won't be, they think, anything else left, because that's all they care about or know about. So I don't know. It's just a weird indicator that's there. And on the other side, I'm frankly surprised we've gotten as much info about the Ethereum issue. And I want Ethereum to survive, right? Because I do think it's a decent technology. I don't think it's the end all, and I don't think it scales as well as it should, but it is useful. I like to integrate it into projects myself even, but the fact that the founders did this and they've had no issues with the same SEC that's come after me, it's pretty crazy. And I'm thankful to the XRP army and all the Ripple funding for legal that they did, or else we wouldn't probably have seen any of this info, and no one would know. And they just you have to wonder. Like, they even just now, as an example, just finally released a whole bunch of FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act requests at the SEC, that even pointed to further corruption. That is absolutely crazy. And the SEC had tried to keep those FOIAs from being released for, I think, 2 years, and they finally got out, probably because they realized, oh, well, we lost the Ripple case. Let's go ahead and let it go. I don't know. It's pretty pathetic. And then that's why when we get into talking about some of the even the more liberty-focused people who try, and I don't know, I don't want to judge them on any of this, but it seems like they try to approach down the middle. They want people to think they're not a radical or something, and so they talk about, it's like, no, listen, we need regulation in this. We need regulation, and it's the same BS. It's like, okay, tell me why you need regulation. Is gaming software licenses regulated? No, there are already laws. You can't defraud someone with that, right? But do we regulate the trade of Pokemon cards or sport cards? No, we don't. And if you're going to try to say that, oh, this is different because there's more money involved, it's crazy. It is really ludicrous, really crazy. People buy baseball cards solely because the price will go up. Those are issued by central authorities who promote the issuance of those cards and sell them to kids, let alone consumers in the US. No regulation. So why do you need regulation in this industry? Now, if you're talking about loans, if you're talking about what Celsius was doing, if you're talking about what SBF was doing at FTX, good old Sam, you're talking about that shit, that's all banking shit. I, of course, regulate that. That's a fucking bank, right? But to try to say, oh, all of this entire industry, they are all this, and this is a dude who doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground, he probably can't even operate a Mac, let alone any other machine. He has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. And then they're trying to advise us that AI is the SEC is trying to advise us that AI is the real tech of the age. I'm like, what the fuck does the SEC have to do with technology? It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's crazy. And people should have pitchforks and probably also torches by now.
So are you saying that they're saying that they should be over? I hadn't heard this news, that they're saying they should be over like all technology now.
No, every time they talk, in order to, I mean, it's an obvious ploy. Like Gary, for instance, in order to in front of Congress, how do I say this? Downplay the importance of crypto and blockchain tech. He constantly is now saying, and I've heard in multiple forums, including interviews, saying that, look, blockchain is really nothing. What we need to, AI is the technology of our generation. I'm like, tech tips with Gary, it's BS that he's even talking about that. I mean, if you're talking about, okay, you want to regulate AI trading, have at it. I'm sure there are already regulations in place for there are already program trading that has existed for decades, and I believe that there's some regulation around that. I don't know, but it's crazy to me that he's trying to downplay blockchain, and I think it's because he doesn't want them to have as much of fire under their seat. That's one of the things. Also to say, oh, yeah, Gary, he's smart. He's from MIT. He knows what he's talking about. And AI is really what we should be looking at. Forget about this blockchain stuff. People don't really care about that. That's maybe the angle. I don't know. It's just crazy to me that he even brings that up. It's like, he doesn't understand the technology at all. So anyway, whatever.
That is insane.
And by the way, MIT, I have to bring up, if he was at MIT, I will give him that. But while he was in MIT, all of his projects were funded by what do they call it, Lolita Express member, right? So they were funded by Epstein. So Epstein actually funded the projects that Gary worked on at MIT. Surprise, surprise, surprise. And he's also a good buddy with Sam. So they're all in there together, and they hate me. They want me dead. So we'll see if it works.
Yeah, I started reading about that while you were talking. I thought this was interesting. He says, basically, who is responsible for generative AI gives faculty financial advice. Investment advisors under the law have a fiduciary duty, a duty of care, a duty of loyalty to their clients. Mr. Ginsler said, and whether you're using an algorithm, you have the same duty to care. I just think that's really funny that they're like, look, an AI can't care about you as a person, therefore it shouldn't be able to give you financial advice. I'm like, I have not met a financial advisor that cared about me as a person.
It's pathetic.
Yeah,
It probably, they probably in their head, they probably mean that the financial advisor cares about himself and cares about you in as much as it might affect his brand or ability to keep doing what he's doing. So he is caring
off of your money.
Yeah. It's just,
yes.
I don't know.
Bernie Madoff cared. I'm sure he cared about making the oldest. What is it? I guess it would be first in, first out. Right? Is a proxy, right? So the first in gets first out with double, and then the next in gets out next with maybe almost double. And he probably really cared about those at the end of that chain.
Yeah. Just ripples down and cares about them all. Yeah, that's exciting. Did we talk about the SEC's appealing the XRP ruling?
I think Joe kind of hit on it, but we didn't actually make a statement about it. So for people that haven't heard the news, that was kind of news this morning.
So John, how do you pronounce this interlocutory?
First of all, why are you asking me? And second of all,
that's why.
Which word are we going?
Interlocutory.
Yeah. That is an interlocutory.
I looked it up. It's something that's apparently there when there is supposed confusion to clear up. Controversy.
Wait, the SEC is seeking clarity?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, all it is it's a game, just like always. That's what I'm saying. There is no objectivity in law. This is all gamesmanship, and this is just them thinking they have some potential to hone in on that. I assume, I don't know, I'm no lawyer, on the traded tokens, so user traded tokens on the outside to try to say, wait a minute, did you mean these aren't? It's obvious. It clearly said they aren't. So.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. So, like in the very Veritasium case, they have had opportunities themselves, the SEC, to make clarity. They in their case against Reggie Middleton, they listed the Veritasium token in the complaint over 150 times. They listed the token, but in the settlement that they came to an agreement with Reggie on, the token was not mentioned one time. Not once. So if that was such a crucial issue, why was it not ever mentioned?
Because in a settlement where things will be final, they don't want anything mentioned in there. So later, I tell you, and I don't know this, especially in that case, but that's the type of stuff where if you, I can't remember what they call it, but I've had to understand some of this for the patent law, where a certain context or definition, you either want to overlap or you don't want to overlap in various situations. So maybe my theory would be that, and Richie probably knows from his attorneys a lot more, but there's a potential with that settlement that they could then go after other people with the same token because they didn't mention it in the settlement and say, okay, this is no longer considered anything, or no finality there, so they can still have it in limbo. And if anybody knows that, bureaucrats, and especially enforcement bureaucrats, the ideal situation is to not have a black and white law that is easily countered by a person you're putting cuffs on. If it is something, it's like, look, I'm not walking in the grass. It's not illegal to walk here. But they can say, oh, but this isn't grass, it's dirt, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then they can make a case and or deny you when it matters. So right before they shoot you. So I don't know. That's what a lot of it probably is. And they have a lot. It's a freaking legal shop. It's a legal shop run by bankers. That's all that org is. So it's crazy. And it's all unconstitutional is the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the real issues. Like, they don't want clarity, because if they ever get tested in court, they're going to lose for real. So.
All right. Well, it looks like we should go on to the next question. Here it is. Host, please put on your black pill hats before answering the question. I'm not quite sure what the black pill is, but I'll put that hat on. What are the negatives that come from the recent ruling in the XRP SEC case, and what are the potential downfalls of the crypto space? Joe, you want to kick this one off for us?
Sure. Negatives are that it was split, right? I would have preferred a total blowout, of course. The other negatives are that it has created controversy in an already tribal, controversial industry, right? We already have everybody on the outside that cares about it, that doesn't want to enjoy the fruits of this technology. They're already wanting us dead. They're wanting all the projects killed. They're wanting only Bitcoin, or only the ones they can control. They're fractionalizing Bitcoin. They can control it. AI, they can control, right? The other reason they want it. So we already have all those people wanting to kill us, and we're so brilliant inside of our industry that we all want to kill each other too. It's like we'd all rather have that project could fail. It's so stupid and childish, and that is the reality of our industry. So because we've attracted those people and haven't attracted enough people who care with enough courage to say something about it, right? Because it's really hard, because there's a lot of paid, especially back in the day, there were a lot of paid shills, so it kept a lot of people from weighing in where they would have otherwise. So those are some of the negative things, and which is the good thing about that is that's all cultural. On the legal side, I think that it's hard. it's hard to think this as too negative. You know, it's not perfect, 100% positive, but it's damn well further than a lot of people thought we would be right now. So, yeah, the bad parts are, and maybe good and bad. It highlights the cultural divide, both outside and inside the industry. So,
there you go. Lisa, anything you'd like to doom us all with because of the case?
Sure.
I googled what black pill hat was. Now it's just like nihilism is what it seems like, and just a very negative view on the world, which I get. All right, I listened to a lot of emo music in college.
my life.
Oh, yeah.
We're on our black hats. I guess just the fact that it is being settled in the courts instead of through we the people's voice, and I think
Yes.
that is the negative part.
That's
because
true.
that is not how laws are supposed to be formed, and it feels like you know, even the recent Coinbase SEC lawsuit, to me, my conspiracy hat, since we're talking about hats, is like, was that like, oh, the timing of this is just right, and now they're going to go make a deal in court and get to write the laws or the rules of the playground of crypto, instead of going through we the people's voice, through our congressmen and women, and through constitutionally making the laws the way they should be made. And so to me, that's the real negative part, is that this is not how it was supposed to happen. It isn't supposed to be litigated in there. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was going to say, I think in all truth, that's probably one of the most important points that should be made right now. No idea if Coinbase is. I hope it isn't. Good God, I hope it's not a freaking setup like so many other things. But if you look at, I'm not going to mention some of the projects. There are some projects that have come under fire by the SEC that I would not, how do I say this? I wouldn't put money that they weren't set up. And if you look at Prometheum as an example, that was an obvious setup. They set up, they had a group, by the way, financed by the same Chinese Communist Party funded group that financed early Ethereum, and that Vitalik was he their CTO, or no, he was their science advisor or lead or something. So he's paid by them. So it wasn't like it was unknown to him. Oh, I'm just the engineer. They funded it. I don't know anything. And you know, he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care difference between Chinese or Communist Party or not. But it's an interesting thing that it's the same group that funded Prometheum that had also sit down rights somehow with Gary and the gang, you know, people at the SEC. They had access. None of us had access to those fuckers, right? And so these guys go in and they're connected in all these shady, if you ask me, ways. And then he testifies in front of Congress. It's like, they've never asked me to testify in front of Congress. They've never asked any of like the guys that are on XRP Army, Deaton, or any of those guys to testify in front. Those are the people who should be if they want to learn the truth. It's like, no, they have them in there, and like, you know, John Kennedy interviewed interviewed Gary, and he was like, oh, he was all just, oh, you know, what do you know, Gary? Like they just got back from a hunting trip or something, and it's just pathetic, the whole damn thing. So it's all a setup, and I wouldn't doubt that there are several which would probably surprise people that were set up in that light, that they have this one cartel, let's call it. And I don't know what name, if you want to call it the Ethereum cartel, but there's a cartel there. And if you look at it, you know, RICO laws might apply. I don't know, but all those groups are so tied to each other, and somehow they all get by without any scrutiny, right? Even though there is, like say with Lubin, for example, you can't say, oh, well, he just didn't do anything wrong. It's like he has like 12 or 15 lawsuits against him by investors because he blind sold MetaMask IP to JP Morgan, right? So it's not, they were supposed to own that. The people who invested in this should have owned that, but it's like, no, he sold it out from under him. And so he's being sued for that. Again, I'm not a lawyer. And that's all from my understanding from the open press. So this is all alleged, Joe. But either way, you have to think about, I would say it's a cartel, because there's no way that those guys aren't all tied together. It's crazy. It's nuts. So
this is all Joe in Minecraft talking.
All in Minecraft. Yeah. They should all be in some time. I don't even know what type of anyway. I don't know enough about Minecraft to make any funny
to be able to make a reference to that. Yeah.
Oh, why am I forgetting that? I want to make this great joke and now I can't remember the name of the show. Not Succession. I just looked at like the Prometheum, like their executive team, and it's their chiefs are 3 people named Kaplan, with the last name Kaplan. So I'm like, oh, this looks like this has a very like Succession vibe to it.
Yeah, I think that they're tied to now again, all alleged and all from what I've read, tied to Russian organized crime.
Nice.
And there's and then of course funded by that Chinese entity. I can't remember the name of it. And then anybody who has sit down talks with the high level SEC staff has to be, questioned. Is like, I understand they sit down with Jamie Dimon, but they're also sitting down with Prometheum and with Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay, all right.
They're just trying to be diverse, Joe.
Oh, and maybe this is more of the current events, but also tied to crypto for obvious reasons. That the Virgin Islands filing against JP Morgan and directly against
and Deutsche Bank, right?
Yeah, but the Virgin Islands one, they filed this case or suit or something, which was about hiding funds from human trafficking. Virgin Islands, again, SBF, all the rest of that stuff, and the first time a U.S. president has visited the Virgin Islands in 48 or 50 years happens that weekend. That prosecutor gets fired, no reason given. Jamie Dimon doesn't have to testify in this. It's like a whole bunch of really shady stuff. Anyway, that's more current events maybe, but it's still tied to crypto. So anyway, I make my case.
I love the Prometheum website. It looks like they paid a college kid to make it on Fiverr for $20.
But you have it up? I haven't seen it.
Oh, I can show you my favorite.
Did you accept their cookies, John? Tell us. Do you have?
It didn't even ask.
Oh my gosh.
It didn't even ask about it. So like, I went to like, I'm always curious, like, what are they hiring for, right? The current openings, they've got like 5 different departments, but none of them have any openings.
Interesting. Compliance, especially.
Yeah, and then when you look at the company, it looks like it's just run by 8 people. Where's it at? I gotta go to the about.
Oh, team.
It's at the. It's just run by 8 people. 3 of them are related. It looks like
it's Kaplan.
Yeah, this guy. It sounds like a bank, right? Or not a bank, a law firm.
I think it is a law firm.
This guy, I swear, he's the bouncer.
Because he has a beard and he has no hair.
This is the one person that goes, "Are you sure you want?" I don't know anything. She just plays ignorant the entire time, just like in Succession. This is the guy who goes and gets donuts. Anybody named Randy has to get donuts. I don't know. I just find this website just looks like, you know what I mean? It looks like it was made on a Wix
by AI.
It looks like it was made on a Wix site. Like, what is going on? Like, does it change? Okay.
I'm just amazed how much
so weird.
Real I think there's better investigative journalism in crypto than any other industry right now. Because you have like CoffeeZilla doing crazy stuff. You have, I don't know if you guys watch that. I have one question about him. If it ever comes up that anybody ever gets to talk to him or something, we need to ask him why. He's legit. He has a bunch of really great investigations he's done. But he has CGI coffee. So it's CoffeeZilla. And if you watch his video, that coffee's not real. And it has steam coming up. I'm not joking. And I don't know why that is. You know, it's like, why did he think that he needs CGI? Couldn't he just have a real coffee there? Anyway.
The things that go on in Joe's head.
You should watch it. It's like it blows
questions.
my mind. I'm watching this and I'm like, that coffee is not real.
Because he didn't need it. Yeah.
I guess.
Submit a request. You can just request stuff. That's cool.
Let me see if I
Anyway, I like to look at people's websites, and this one,
Good way to judge.
if you need a web developer, let me know, Prometheum. I got you. I will. I am not above but bribes. I will. Let me know what's up. Great. So I know I should probably share my opinion on this. What like the black pill side of this case. I'm tired of there being even more 3-letter companies that I need to know. Okay. I feel like people are going to forget about the great 3-letter things like MXC, the old show where they used to make people play like Wipeout games, but then they would dub over it in English. You don't know what I'm talking about?
I didn't know it was called MXC, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I feel like people are going to forget about those, you know, and I don't like that. You know, people are going to be concentrating on the SEC instead of the NCAA. You know, we're not going to be talking about the Big Ten anymore.
All right. Okay. Okay.
What was that? You got a question or something to say, or was that a please stop?
Please stop.
Yeah.
No more. That is a problem right now.
See, Sean. It's like I know I'm in good company when Sean has seen the CGI coffee. And I don't think anyone's ever asked him about that. If I ever,
maybe somebody should send him some real coffee.
That's a good point.
That's what it is. He can't afford real coffee, so he figured over time it's cheaper just to have fake coffee the entire time.
Yeah,
that's true. I'm gonna have to check that out. Check out this fake coffee.
So that's all the questions, isn't it?
Yeah, I was trying to ramble a little bit to get to the next thing. All right, Joe, that's what it was. Anything else we want to say about this, or just
I think
we can start current events now?
Well, if we're still talking about the SEC, I want to know what Joe's thoughts are on, because there is a conversation about it being a risk for the SEC to go back into court and relitigate this. And do they have a chance, or do they have a chance of, losing because they did get a split decision.
Yeah.
Do they have a chance of losing their first part of their decision, or having the judge look at that and change their mind about that part of the decision? Could this be a detriment?
I'm not the right person to ask. I would assume if other precedent, like with patents, like if you go, if you try to get an increase of value in your patent by refiling and narrowing it or something like that, I know that you can lose everything. So there's risk to doing a lot of those things. I have no idea in this case, and it's testament to the fact that none of it's real. And if you look at it, and I've been listening to Cost of Glory. I think I mentioned this once before. It's like this broadcast with where they go over all the various ancient figures that Plutarch wrote biographies for, and it's interesting to me because everybody always says, "Oh yeah, parallels," but it's really kind of crazy because I think, frankly, what matters with law is what humans do with it, and in time, humans, especially certain humans, are always testing it up against how far they can go or how far they can get away with something that's obviously not really intended. And I think that's a lot of what's going on. So, obviously the oranges were not supposed to be securities. That was not the intent of how. In fact, securities are, and if you can look it up, go to financial like Investopedia or something and look up the term security. It is literally something which is an asset which signifies ownership in an entity like equity, or it can be an asset which is a portion of debt instrument. But anyway, it's ownership in something, right? And they're not using it that way at all. I mean, and in fact, I halfway with a lot of it has to do with terms and the fact that, a lot of these projects get thrown into the same bucket as others. But, a rewards token on a video site like Library is not ownership in an entity or IP or anything else. It's a utility token, right? It's as if, let's say I go to Chuck E. Cheese and I have some tokens. I'm using them on, playing games or take rides or something. But then if I do something else, like if I swept up the floor, maybe I would earn some tokens. They would say, that's a security, Joe, because it's on the blockchain, right? It's a weird thing that, I don't know. It's a really bizarre thing. So it's bad one way or another. So hopefully there's a high risk in doing it, but it looks like they're going to do it anyway. But my bet is they think they can finagle their way out of any actual loss by just, there's patterns to this, but by just saying, oh, we didn't really lose. It was further that you don't understand what they said. Right. So,
muddying the waters.
Yeah. Because we said, that definition of the emotion or appeal or whatever is supposed to be to remove controversy or confusion, where I think anybody who's honestly read it, even for a layperson like me, it's very clear. The judge says, this is not a security. Mm-hmm. This is. So it really isn't any confusion, except that they don't want it to be clear. So.
Right. Interesting.
All right. Well, that's our last question. That's been our episode of XRP versus the SEC, episode 116 here on World Blockchain Roundtable. I figured we can get us out, and that way we can have a little bit more time for plugs. Joe, anything you want to plug or let people know about?
Den.Dow call today. If you can come on, you should, because Dave's out. So if you want to get through anything, it'd be good if I have somebody else on there with me. And I don't know, everything else, donate to the legal fund if you have the ability. legalfund.dragonchain.com. That's it.
What time is the Den.Dow call?
It's
3 p.m. Eastern, right?
I think that's right. Yes. 2 p.m. my time. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll do my best to be on there.
Cool. You don't have to be, but if you go, it'd be awesome.
Yeah. Lisa, anything you'd like to plug or let people know about?
Please go join the Mighty Lair on Den.Social, and get active on that. Post some things on that. That would be great. Also, I will be at the Silver Symposium. Pulsestock is putting on a Silver Symposium in Vegas at Caesar's Palace. They're bringing crypto and precious metals people together, and so they're going to have, everybody from David Morgan to, they're trying to get the Jekyll Island guy, G. Edward Griffin there. Andy Sheckman will be there. George from, hi, I'm George, we're all George. Cryptos R Us will be there. Lots of great people. So get to Vegas if you can, September 29th through October 1st. You can get a discount on most of my videos. I have a link to give you a little discount, and you get a silver 1 ounce round with your ticket as well. So
sounds great.
Yeah.
All right. Great. I'd love to plug just drinking water. I don't think people drink water enough. So just as a reminder, is that water in there or coffee? It's water.
Water.
No steam.
Yeah, and they are I guess they're cleaning the water container in my building, so my water has been off from like midnight till hopefully noon. So hopefully it'll be on in the next 5 minutes. And I've been consistently checking my email for them to tell me that it's been turned on. So I'm hoping to have water soon, because it's not fun.
Just turn on your tap and you'll be able to hear it.
Yeah, I can hear when it's not on. That's the problem. And I also want the pipes to be there when I'm done. Yeah, so I'd love to plug that. Stick around for current events after this. Next week, we are going to be talking about blockchain as a solution for economic immigration I am super excited for that one. Joe, you look excited, or that was some spicy water. I couldn't tell. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that week. So get in there, ask us some questions. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Greg was out this week with a severe injury, so let's pray for him. Hopefully, he bit his tongue a little hard, so hopefully he's ready to come back next week and join us. Share this episode. The more you share, the more our host and topic contributors will get. Don't forget to leave your questions and hang out with us after this for current events. Bye.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
That was spooky. I felt like I was about to watch a horror thriller from the 90s or something.
Oh, yeah.
What we've been living through has been spooky.
Somebody was going to pop out of a closet in a scream mask. I wasn't sure what was about to happen. It was great. But yeah, I do have to go, though, so you guys have fun. Fun show. Have fun talking about current events.
Yep.
And I won't be there to stop you, so have a good one.
I don't have see you, John. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of time either, so we can make this as
okay.
short
Yeah, we can do a short one.
Makes sense.
That's cool.
So what do we have? We have.
Oh my gosh.
We have the 80-year-old or close with a cane getting shot by the FBI.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that till we jumped on this morning. So tell me a little more about that.
He made a bunch of Facebook posts, but they were like Facebook boomer memes where they were just all text, and he was, saying, things he shouldn't say.
You kids get off my lawn.
Yeah, well, it was more like, Joe Biden, I won't be surprised when he gets taken out, or, various things like that. Yeah, things he shouldn't be saying, but at the same time, he's an old dude with a cane, and this supposedly is America, and there is supposedly still a First Amendment. So if he isn't, normally it would be, okay, let's say the FBI gets a report, and either the Secret Service or FBI, I thought it was a Secret Service, but either way, that they have to pay a visit and let them know, hey, and to assess, is this guy really a threat? Because by all, description, he was an old dude with a cane, not really a threat to anybody. And yet he's dead now. So that's a weird thing. And who knows? I don't know if we will know everything about it. But there were people saying, how come when certain people do something, they immediately have incriminating pictures, and they had all of this stuff to put out there in the press. But when certain school shootings happen by certain types of people, there's nothing. Everything's sealed. You can't see the note that they read when they actually did kill somebody. It's crazy stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I saw a thread on one of the most recent. Well, I don't know how recent it was. Well, it was probably the last most publicized school incident. And somebody went back and saw the video footage or some of the pictures that are being put out there. The person had 2 different pairs of shoes on.
Yes.
Alluding that it.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the pictures
a lot of those
are from a second person.
Yep. There are so many inconsistencies with most of those that it's crazy. So I don't know. What else was there? So there was the SBF change that maybe they are. We need to look into that. I don't know enough about what they are charging him with.
What they are actually charging him with or not.
On campaign finance. And then
Well, the Ecuadorian
Oh yeah,
Fernando Valenciago oh wait, how do you say his name? Villavinchenko? Is that
do
how
we
you
know
say
what
it?
side, like politics? I don't know
I
anything.
heard he was far right. He he said he made a statement. Here's a video. Here I am, Mr. Luisa Gonzala. They have told me to wear a bulletproof vest, but here I am in a sweaty shirt. Let the drug lords come. Let the hitmen and vaccinators come. And then they killed him.
Yeah. Wow. And then there's also there's the Hawaiian fire.
Yes, and not that many people were talking about it. I'm not sure.
Crazy. Came out of nowhere, I think. And speaking of the fire, there was drone footage. I think it was from Sicily, where some dude was out there in a wooded area that was obviously trying to start a fire, and there was a drone flying above him, and he was really not happy that this drone was monitoring him.
Catching him
Yeah, throwing
starting
stuff at him
fires.
stuff. It's like they're starting fires all over the place for some reason. I have no idea what the reasoning is. Climate change or something, maybe. Maybe climate change drives people crazy, and they just feel like they have to start fires. Maybe that's what they would say.
Or they're paid. I don't know.
Yeah,
One of the two. Um,
Canada was the other one. Like all that stuff that happened in the U.S. Northeast, there were people in like hot mic at Parliament in Canada where they were actually saying the thing that they're not saying, which is that they've set these fires. So
wow.
I don't know if you saw that. It was crazy.
No.
The other one, I saw one last night that I have seen nowhere else, but it was essentially a statement by a Pakistani leader who was the most popular politician, and he overwhelming majority in office, but he was essentially thrown out when he went against the Ukrainian war and some of the stuff with NATO. That he wanted to have a more neutral stance on all this stuff that didn't affect Pakistan. Seemingly, you would think it would be good for Pakistan, right? And somebody didn't like it and got him cooed or thrown out. And there was a bunch of really interesting stuff on it that I read last night. So like, that's new too. Trying to think what else.
Comer released the third bank memo detailing payments to the Bidens from Russia,
That's right, 20 million
in Ukraine. Yeah, I believe so.
I guarantee that's a small amount. I guarantee it's more than 10 or 20 million that they and that's why I was saying, we look at it historically, ancient history, corruption has always happened whenever you get so much money in one place. But the fact that it's becoming known and it's being blown off is actually kind of frightening, because when treason becomes passable, if you're certain people, there's not much left after that. It's
well, that's what I think. Like, as we the people, they are like waiting for someone to do something, but they don't realize it's us that are supposed to do the thing.
Yeah. Yes. My theory is that this country is too big. In a city state, super easy. In a smaller nation, even as small as France, where you've had a revolution. When we had our war for independence, we were not anywhere near as big as we are now, right? I mean, you could still, even on horseback, travel across the country relatively quickly. It's much smaller. Now, if you're West Coast or something, it's like it's a different world over there. And that's why I think if we ever have a restructuring of the government, which we obviously need, they should radically decentralize it and make it so that the lobbyists have a lot larger cost on trying to do that lobbying, and where the freaking representatives actually live in your damn district, that you can go and ring their doorbell right at their office, not their home, but they actually would be there, right? Whereas now you never see them, and it's all BS, right? So
well, that goes to my brother-in-law's from Finland, and when my sister went there to visit, she said it's like pristine and But it's such a small community physically, and and they really respect their teachers, all of this. She's like, there's no littering or whatever, because like someone would see you throw that piece of paper on the ground and they would go tell your mother.
Yeah.
And
that's more valuable than telling a cop and getting a stupid fine.
Right. The accountability and the public,
It's real.
and that's where we've been able to hide in this horde of a giant country, and not have to. I was watching the other day on I don't know, on something, and they were showing these kids running in a Nike store with trash bags in their pockets and just filling trash bags full of shoes and clothes and stuff, and running out of the store. And it's like everybody just sit there and watch them do it, and they will escape
past a certain value.
Yeah, well, and they'll just escape into the vastness of LA or whatever.
Yep. It's horrible.
It's horrible. We like community can fix this.
This is the other Fauci chart, or evidence for handed over to DOJ. Will they do anything to Fauci? No, Fauci is their saint. All right, so and he wasn't set up to be a martyr saint. He's a blessed saint. He's canonized. What's the word? While he's alive, whatever that would be. Right. So, they won't do anything.
Well, I also yesterday on my show, I found a payment bonus chart of for the jabs that they were getting bonuses if their members. Their doctors were getting bonuses if they had so many of their members or clients, percentage wise, were jabbed up by a certain date.
They've had people who died because they wouldn't give them treatment if they weren't vaccinated, right?
They're refusing transplants now on people, which affects my family personally.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, this is, if the Republicans win, is the DOJ then no matter who it is, they'll still appoint somebody who is a part of that class, and they're not going to go after Fauci. They all, it's all the same party. There is no Democrat, Republican, left or right. So it's all set up to keep us divided. So anyway.
Well, and what people have to understand is Fauci has been hiding and doing this for a long time. The whole AIDS epidemic, Fauci was part of that, creating AZT. So Dr. McDaniel is on my show every other Wednesday. He's now in his 80s. He was the guy who tested the blood of the Dallas Buyers Club guys that were trying to heal themselves with aloe vera and all that, because they had been devastated. The gay cowboy community in Dallas had been devastated by AZT and the creations, because AZT attacked not only the virus, but it attacked the healthy cell as well. So it destroyed your immune system. Anyway, we just did a video on this, and he was talking about the politicization of science and how improper this all is, and really a detriment to humans. Just really dangerous.
Yep.
But Fauci's been involved with this. He's done this before. If he is not the Mengele of today, I don't know who is.
Yeah, I agree. I've read a bunch of that too. It's crazy, and the fact it's bizarre that they would have brought the same guy back, because when you look back, it's like, wait a minute, this is a pattern. But they know that it won't spread because they control all of the funnels of information. So. Okay.
Well, and Joe, they've had, speaking of current events, they now are finding labs in California with mice that they were testing and doing some kind of gain of function with the mice.
It's not even gain of function in Wuhan or gain of function, crazy experimental labs in Ukraine on the border of Russia. It's literally there in California. It's so pathetic.
They don't care about us.
They don't care about it.
We have got to do something different. Yeah.
Yep. It's just, yeah. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I don't have anything else. Let's see here. Anything else we should cover? I'm sure there's something I'm missing.
Let me see. I mean, that's kind of the big news, but
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's
Joe Rogan says no effing way to central bank digital currency. That's a game over.
Yes.
The CBDCs. The BRICS thing is supposed to roll out August 22nd, I believe. So I'm curious. I've heard rumors that 23 states have made deals or negotiated deals with BRICS. I don't know if that's true or not. But
really, I doubt that.
Well, 25, I think, have already made laws that make gold and silver legal tender in their states during the Great Infection, and so
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me if we are going to a nation state model. It wouldn't surprise me for some of those states to start saying like, well, we're maybe they're not that they're going to go on BRICS, but that they would do trades with them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
I don't know. That'd be awesome. I mean, I don't know. I just hope they, it'd be nice to get real money in place. It would change a lot of stuff. If there weren't a bank on every damn corner, it'd be a good thing too. So
I think we're close.
Anyway, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is, for imports, exports to, trade with the BRICS nations. Like we have the rice shortage from India and all those things. Maybe this would be smart for a lot of states to say, okay, let's get stuff, grease the skids in front of it so we can make sure we can still get, supplies and foods and things like that from these various places. And vice versa. California probably sells a lot to a lot of those countries, right? So, and other, I don't know, California is doing that, but Texas, New York, California, a lot of the breadbasket middle of the country, you would think would be, right?
I would think that would be
China,
beneficial.
to India, yeah.
Well, in India is where we get all of our the core or the ingredients for medication. A lot of people think it's from China, but China was manufacturing our medication, but the core, the ingredients came from India. Yeah. So if we could manufacture here, I know when Trump was in office, he was trying to get Puerto Rico rebuilt to be that medical manufacturing hub. And then we could source directly from India to our own nation, because Puerto Rico is part of the United States, whether people realize that or not. And then, make our own things. So I think that would be a good thing. Good stuff.
I don't have anything else. I'm like, anything else new? There's a lot going on, obviously, but
we can wrap it up and cut it short today.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate you. Give us a like, share the video, and catch us over on Den.Social.
Yes. See you next week.